Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is FatherFunk. Today we're going to be using Ableton's amp to turn our basses from this into this. Let's get into it. Before we get going, let's give a shout out to DistroKid for sponsoring this video. No one wants to release your music? Put it out yourself. DistroKid is a distribution platform that puts your music into online stores and streaming services such as iTunes, Spotify, and hundreds more. They offer unlimited uploads for a yearly subscription fee with no commission. They've just launched a new feature called Teams, which makes it easier to split payments with your collaborators. Here's a quick rundown of some of the features. You can add unlimited collaborators, you can change splits at any time, you can add or remove collaborators at any time, and if your collaborators don't have a DistroKid account, they can create one for just $10. I won't go into all the features of DistroKid right now, but to find out more and get a discount on your membership, follow the link in the description. You'll also be supporting the channel. Nice one. Right. Let's do this. Okay, so I've got a basic jungle kind of sound going on here. Let's just have a quick look at that in Serum. So yeah, it's basically just two saw waves, one fine-tuned minus 33 cents, and one fine-tuned plus 33 cents. Yeah, just a classic kind of jungle sound. Like if you hear that as sine waves as well, you'll recognize that kind of sound. But yeah, for this amp trick, we kind of want something that's got quite a lot of harmonics in it, quite a thick sound, so saw waves perfect. I've also put a tiny bit of dimension on there as well, just to give it some stereo width. Basically, I mean, obviously you can apply this technique to any bass sound you want, but it's always good to have like something that has a bit of movement in there, and something with a bit of stereo width, and something with like, yeah, just some kind of harmonics that the bass, that the amp can bring out. So let's apply amp to that. Now, when you first hear it, it's probably going to sound a bit over the top, a bit nasty. So kind of what I tend to do is first I'll kind of pick an amp style. So yeah, whatever suits you really. I think I like the sound of rock for this. I'm going to put it on dual mode, which means it's going to be in stereo. You know, I already hear that sounding pretty dope. I'm going to turn the dry wet down a bit. I think 50 sounds pretty good. And then I'm going to put OTT on it. Classic. Going to bring up the mids. Bring up the bass. And bring up the highs a little. Already sounding pretty great. I might just finish that off with a glue compressor. Wicked. And that's pretty much it. One thing to bear in mind, it's always good to sort of mono your bass using utility if you are using it in dual mode. Luckily these days Ableton has a really easy bass mono button on the utility, and I usually crank that up to even as high as 500. That just means that the bass frequencies below that are going to be strictly mono, which is what you want. Wicked. So yeah, I'll show you some more examples of some things we could do for the amp, just to give it some extra kind of movement. And one of them would be to use an auto filter. I'm just going to put the auto filter onto bandpass mode. I'm going to play with this frequency knob until I kind of find an area that I like. I'm going to automate that. I'm going to put that on an effect rack. And I'm going to create another chain without anything on it. So the auto filter is happening in parallel with the dry sound. And we can kind of mix these two signals a bit. Something else we can add before the amp will be a chorus. Just anything that creates a bit of width really and adds some extra harmonics. So let's apply that to a slightly different sound. So what I've got here is a bit more of a kind of donkey sound. This is basically just a square wave with a kind of envelope on the cutoff, on the filter cutoff, with like a higher detuned saw wave over the top, and just a tiny bit of noise. We've got all the components there for a sound with some width and some harmonics. So let's chuck an amp on there, turn the dry wet down. Already you can see it's giving it a nice bit of bite there. Let's experiment with some different amp types. I think clean is the best. I'm going to put it in dual mode. I'm going to put it in dual mode. I'm going to Now I'm going to tweak some of these EQs as well. Cool, I like the sound of that. And then let's get trusty OTT out. Once again, I'm going to bring up the mids, bring up the lows, and bring up the highs a little bit. Now this time I'm going to back off a little bit on the amount. It's sounding good. Now once again, I'm going to get utility out. Just to make the bass mono. Wicked, that's sounding great. Let's get a glue compressor on there. Job's a good one. So let's hear that without. And with. Loads better. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Please let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video. Smash that like button and consider subscribing if you'd like to see some more videos from me in the future. See you next time.